Hey everyone, this is Mike and today we're back in Final Fantasy XIV. As yesterday I started to prepare for the next Savage raid tier. Now you might be wondering why start preparing now when the next raid tier is probably about 4 weeks away from now. And that is for the simple reason that I still need to get some tomestones, because me and my group are planning to get a week 1 clear, basically get the fights done as fast as possible. But if we want to do so, we of course need to get the best gear available as well as fast as possible, because the better you're prepared, the faster things will go, or the more smooth things will go as well. And because of that, I'm going to be preparing my tomestones right now, because tomestones have always been needed to get some materials to craft your new crafted gear. If you're somebody that's not looking to craft their own gear, you can always stack up on tomestones now if you want to make some money when the patch hits, because those tomestone materials will most likely sell for quite a bit, especially day 1, day 2, when a lot of the hardcore or semi-hardcore raiders are looking to get their crafted gear, which of course, if you want to get the best chance at clearing these fights as early as possible, you of course need to give yourself the best chance as well by getting that gear, by getting the new food, the new potions, all of that kind of stuff. So when it comes down to me personally, right now I'm mainly going to be focused on the tomestones. I already have a bunch of materia prepared. I'm gonna take a look later down this week whether or not I still need all that much materia, yes or no, because then maybe instead of doing expert roulette, I'll be jumping on hunt trains, because hunt trains are a very good source of materia as well. So I'll see whether or not I need to do that, because of course getting your crafted gear is one thing, pentamelding it is another. So I'll definitely need to have plenty of materia ready for that. Outside of that, not really going to be doing all that much in terms of like actual item preparation, so to speak. I am going to be gathering a bunch of the materials, maybe some Aether Sands and such as well, just in case we might need those, because I would much rather spend some extra time right now, like maybe go gather here or there for half an hour whilst I watch some Netflix or something like that, rather than spend extra time when the patch actually hits, because of course me and my team were planning on putting in quite some time in the first few days. I'm not quite sure how we're going to be doing it just yet, because we need to see whether or not people are going to be working during those days as well, because we're not 100% sure when the patch exactly is going to be hitting just yet. We're expecting either the 1st or the 8th of December, but of course not 100% sure yet until the live letter of that comes out. So for now we're not quite sure whether or not we're actually going to go full on hardcore when the patch launches, or if we're going to do the same as we did with last raid tier, where we'll just be raiding like 4 or 5 hours in the evenings. And then do it like that. So depending on how that all goes, I'll have more or less time to craft my crafted gear myself as well, because we're not going to be hiring a crafting team like I did for the first raid tier of this expansion, because that team wanted to go completely hardcore, whereas with this team I'll probably just have the time to craft my gear myself. So the more time I can spend actually crafting rather than gathering materials that I could have already gathered right now, I'm basically going to be taking that. I'd rather waste some time now whilst I watch Netflix on the side than have to spend extra time gathering materials that I could have already gotten before. So those are kind of like the most important things that I'm going to be doing, which is tomestones, materia, as well as some crafted gear. I'm also going to be stocking up on some old food and potions as well, because those will still be very useful for like the first 2, maybe 3 fights as well. And then once we go into the 4th fight, at that point I want to have all of my crafted gear done. And by then I should also start being able to use the new food and the new potions, as our crafted gear should be done by probably like the 2nd or the 3rd fight, and then I can just spend my time on food and potions crafting when it comes down to preparing for the 4th fight, because that's where those will definitely come in handy, and I might become kind of like a necessity as well at that point. So that's kind of it for the preparation on the item side of things. When it comes down to me and my static, I believe about a week or 2 before the raid goes live, we're going to be hopping back into the game, finally raid together again, because we haven't raided in like, I don't know, 2 months at this point or something like that. It's been quite a while since we came together as a group to actually do some raid content in the game. Because of course, like after we raided for I think 6 months in the raid tier, we decided to just call it quits for there, as most of the people already had all of their gear and that kind of stuff. And we were of course getting a little bit bored of just farming the same fights every single week for like the last 6 months as well. So gonna be really fun hopping back into the game with them. We're not 100% sure what we're gonna do yet. Could be some extreme trial farming, maybe some savage. There also was some talk about UCOP, which I'm actually really looking forward to if that is going to be the case. But again, not 100% sure if that will be something. If UCOP is going to be there, I'll of course be streaming it as well. And that's pretty much going to be that. If you're wondering what I'm going to be playing for the next raid tier, I'm not going to be caster again. I'm going to go back to playing tank, which is something that I really wanted to do. I played it for the first tier, I played it for ultimate, I wanted to play it for this Savage tier as well, but because of circumstances I ended up playing Caster, which again I don't mind at all because I had a lot of fun doing so, but I really did wanted to go back to playing Tank, and that is what I got for this next raid tier as well. I'm gonna be playing Warrior for progression because that is my most comfy tank to play, and I feel like Warrior is also a really good proc tank because you have all of that healing in your kit as well, so you can kind of help your healers out when, for example, one was to die. I can keep myself alive through using Nascent Flash and Equilibrium or something like that. So basically to ensure a smoother proc scenario, so to speak. And then once we're done with proc, like for example after 2 or 3 weeks, once everyone's a little bit more comfortable with the fights, when we have more gear, that is when I'll be switching over to playing Gunbreaker, and I'll probably play some Dark Knight at some point as well, maybe even some Paladin if I'm really feeling like it. But Warrior, Gunbreaker, those two you can definitely expect. Dark Knight I really want to do as well, and my co-tank is going to be playing Paladin, so maybe if he wants to switch and play Gunbreaker for a week or something, I could take up the Paladin role, because Paladin is a job that I haven't really played all that much, and I would definitely like to get better at it, because it's like the one tank that I don't really have all that much experience on it, so I wouldn't mind playing it for a week or two here or there, once we're just farming the fights, pretty comfortable with all of that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much what you can kind of expect for me going into the next raid tier. Just gonna be spending my time crafting the gear on the first few days, then food and potions once I'm done with that, Warrior for progression, and then Gunbreaker by the time that we go into just like farm mode, play once a week or something like that. And then of course, if we end up optimizing the fights, if we end up going for speed kills, log runs, that kind of stuff, I'm also definitely going to be playing Gunbreaker, because Gunbreaker is my favorite job in the game. And then I would definitely be wanting to play that one if we're doing something like speed kills or log runs. But that's gonna be it for me. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank my Patreons for supporting me, and I'll see you in the next one.